When I reached the side alley of a building, I noticed a car backed in beside an emergency exit door. The car had no license plate. The terrorist attacks weighing heavily on my mind, I was afraid someone may have been hiding in the store. In order to make sure that my night crew was safe, I called the police. 3 to 4 minutes after calling 911, 3 or 4 police cars abruptly surrounded my car. I had no clue what was going on. The drivers were shining their high beams into my car, and the light completely blinded me. I did not know who was there, how many of them were surrounding me, or whether they had guns drawn on me. I froze. Then I cried. I didn't want to die. Eventually, they yelled through a megaphone to roll my window down and place my hands outside the vehicle. My car didn't have automatic windows, so rolling the window down meant dropping my hands below their line of sight. I couldn't see them, what they were doing, or how close they were to me. I assumed they had their guns drawn, so I stayed frozen. Then I cried more. I didn't dare move a muscle. My fear for my own life told me that as soon as I reached down, they would kill me. So here I was in an alley on the side of a store preparing to meet my maker because I was certain I was about to be shot. After what seemed like an eternity, one lone officer approached my car. He must have told his fellow officers to turn off their lights. Then he tapped on my window and told me that I was going to be okay, and he kindly asked me again to roll down the window. I was terrified, and he knew it, and he saved me and the other officers from reacting in a way that could have ended my life. I was thankful that he didn't let fear control him or the situation. He did not know me. He did not know that I was a person who made the initial call. As I reflect on the encounter, 2 factors played a significant role in the way I reacted. I am Black, and I am autistic. What I wish I had known back then is that many people who are neurodivergent process information differently than those who are neurotypical. Neurodivergence usually includes autism, ADHD, and other neurological differences. One way that neurodivergent brains operate directly has to do with executive functioning, or how the brain absorbs information, organizes it, and acts on the information in a manner that is safe and effective. In intense and high-stress situations, executive functioning can become challenging, if not impossible. I don't tell this story very often, because for so many people, these are not unusual occurrences. They happen regularly. I am grateful that those officers spared my life when all the ingredients for a fatal shooting of an unarmed young Black male were present. I have lived to talk about it, but so many others have not. Lives lost. Ahmaud Arbery. I've lived in the Atlanta area for over 2 decades. Georgia is where I settled after college. It is where I married my wife. It is where our children were born. Georgia is the only place where I have been employed during my adult life. Georgia is my home. With all that the state means to me, I am acutely aware that Georgia is still part of the South, and the South still has more than its fair share of challenges regarding racial bias. On February 23, 2020, at approximately 1 p.m., 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed while jogging in a suburban neighborhood just 15 minutes outside of downtown Brunswick. The 2 men who shot him were a father and son, Gregory and Travis McMichael. Like many people, when I first heard of the murder of Ahmaud, it wasn't on that February day when he lost his life. The distance between where I live and Brunswick isn't so far that I would have missed a news story about a young man being gunned down. The reason I didn't hear what happened to Ahmaud is because it didn't make the news at all. At least, not when he was first killed. It wasn't until May, after a cell phone video of the shooting surfaced, that the country found out about this senseless killing. The local prosecutor had initially declined to indict the 2 men who shot him. Without the video evidence that clearly shows the McMichaels accosting Ahmaud without provocation, they likely would not have faced criminal charges. Governor Brian Kemp later made this statement about the tragic event. Ahmaud was a victim of a vigilante style of violence that has no place in Georgia. Some tried to justify the actions of his killers by claiming they had the protection of an antiquated law that is ripe for abuse. Kemp would later